Hi everyone. Today I have a very special person. Who is she? She's an actor and she is a doctor. So, firstly, she is a doctor. She is a dermatologist and she is actor also. She has appeared in movies as well as in commercials. She's a painter and she's also an author. So put your hands together for Dr. Pradnya Manwatkar, who has written her book, How to Tell Your Skin to Heal Itself. Interesting, right? Treat your skin conditions emotionally. So she applied the most trusted author model, and I'm so happy to have her here and share her story, success story with all of you. Hi, Dr. Pradnya, and welcome to today's author success story session.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you so much. And I, at the outset, have to thank you with all my heart. If it weren't for last April, where I just by chance looked at your 5 day, 5 day course to writing a book, I wouldn't have seen, this day today. So I'm eternally grateful for that. And I'm very, very happy that, I get to do this with you today. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. And I'm also thankful that you took up that session and gave me this opportunity to help you get published. And
Yeah.
today we are doing this session. Amazing.
Yes.
So tell us more about you, Dr. Pradnya. As a person, who is Dr. Pradnya? Or Pradnya, just Pradnya.
Wow. That's the eternal philosophical question. Who are you? Who am I? So I am I'm from Aurangabad. If I start describing myself, I finished my graduation from Pune. From Aurangabad itself. Then my post graduation in dermatology from Pune, and then I started living in Bombay, and I've been in Bombay since 2009 and practicing since 2009. And yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a doctor till at least I had the sense of it, because I've had doctors in the family. I always wanted to become one. And dermatology happened by chance, honestly. I had two options, ophthalmology and dermatology. So I decided to go in for dermatology, not knowing, honestly, that it would pick up so much,
So
because till the
much. Yeah.
time, yeah, it did. And by the time I started dermatology in 2006, studying dermatology, and at that time it was, lasers were pretty okay. They had just come in, and we were more focused as dermatologists. Peels had been introduced, those chemical peels that we do, the lasers, they just introduced, so we were focused on doing medical dermatology. And a lot of us had the mindset ki, oh no, aesthetics is like not for us and all that, so no one knew. So I think it happened by chance. And another thing I feel it happened was again a little bit of fate and destiny, because I've always had acne. And somehow I think, maybe subconsciously, because I do believe in all that, I've just kind of, I don't know, attracted it to me or something like that. You never know. But I always wanted something for myself. As like, how do I treat my own acne? I've had acne for years. I still get acne. And I'm like, okay, so maybe on a very metaphysical level, I must have manifested it. Who knows?
You became a doctor and you not only treated yourself, but you're treating thousands of people, right?
Yes, yes. I've thousands is maybe too much, but yeah. I mean, I try to help. I got a more of an empathetic outlook because of the acne that I had. Because I've always felt that I think unless you go through certain hardships, you can't really understand what that person is going through. So somewhere my acne has also given me that I don't know that. Understanding that even one acne or a few scars which may not be visible are difficult to deal with when you look at yourself in the mirror, no matter how much you talk about it being a vain feature, or it you talk about beauty is soul deep. Somewhere you do look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I wish I could do something about it. So yeah, and today as I speak, a good healthy skin is actually a symbol of a healthy body. So it's a holistic approach that needs to be, made towards getting a healthier skin. So it's no more just a vain feature where we're just doing a peel or we're just doing a laser procedure and saying, oh, look, or shine for 15 days and then stop shining. It's more like an holistic approach today. So yeah, I mean, I think it matters. That, I guess,
It
was an
matters,
advantage.
absolutely. When people say, no, don't go by the cover or
Yeah.
from external, but I feel that people do go by the cover, and it really makes a huge difference in your confidence. Starting with that only, how you see yourself in the
Yeah.
mirror. Okay? So
Yeah.
I think it matters. कितना
It's
भी बोल दे, लोग कितना भी बोल दो, but still it matters. It's there ingrained in our head, or maybe subconsciously also, right from our childhood, we have been seeing it. So when you deserve it, why not get it
yes.
fixed?
Yes, I agree.
So tell us about your book. How. Let me just share my screen also with everyone, showing your book. People, I'll be posting the link in the comments here.
Yay.
You can grab a copy, which is for me to even read this book is amazing. Why? Because she's talking about treating skin conditions emotionally. Now, just Dr. Pradnya said that everything is connected internally, and I totally believe that whatever you are externally has a direct connection with how you are internally. So, जब external fix करना तो internal fix करना, and this book is probably fixing internally, right, Pradnya?
Yes, it is. It's so this book does not talk about creams. It does not talk about quick fixes. It does not talk about 10-step regimes or glass skins. It talks about everything else but that. I believe that the skin is the largest organ of the body, which is a fact, and I believe that the skin today is one of the biggest mirrors of your health. So, and I also believe that, everyone will manifest a disease based on their tendencies. So if I've had friends who've had blood pressure at age 30, you know, uh,
Yes.
and it was diagnosed only after they had this attack of headache. Till then, the changes that were happening were invisible. But if you ask me, in this on the skin, acne on the skin is also a health indicator, because somewhere there are changes happening, and because the skin is a visible organ, you can actually see those visible changes, and then you can actually correct what's going on wrong at that point of time. And I tell all my patients, it's that we as people, including me, we are all lucky to have skin diseases, because they're not life threatening. Not all of them. There are very few which are really problematic, but not many are. And consider it as this red signal sent by your body, and work on it. It's not about just going to a dermatologist and applying a cream, or
True.
a 15-day quick fix and then saying, oh, my skin's going to last forever. It's like saying I'm going to lose 50 kgs and then I'd never have to exercise ever again. It doesn't work that way. It's always about maintaining and understanding what my body is trying to tell me. So yeah, so the skin disease is kind of a language, a health language, I believe.
So you've also done something specialization in actually emotions connected to skin, right?
Correct.
So
So
what is that?
the book introduces actually a new concept called as emo dermatology or emotional dermatology. It basically links negative emotions to skin diseases. I had a personal crisis in 2017, after which I was introduced to this therapy called as rational emotive behavior therapy, where uh, which was formed by Dr. Albert Ellis, and it discusses how your thoughts are responsible for your emotions, negative emotions, which are therefore responsible for your behavior. So uh, so that particular period of time, I started studying this for myself. I started therapizing. I started going to therapists because of a personal crisis, and I started realizing this is so easy and this is so important and this is probably universal. And since I'm a dermatologist, I've restricted myself to talking only about emotions relating to skin disease or emodermatology.
Mm.
But I want to be brave enough and say that today all negative emotions can lead to any disease.
Mm.
including cancers, including hair fall, including, I mean, you name it. And there is a very, very high possibility that that person was undergoing a certain amount of distress. And it doesn't mean that that person has to undergo a big or a huge tsunami like effect in their life. It could be something which is just building up.
Hmm.
So that is what REBT is, rational emotive behavior therapy. And the book introduces REBT in the form of emotional dermatology.
Okay.
So that's what this is about.
Wow. So that's really interesting, and I totally agree and believe in this concept. Would love to learn more, from you about this brain skin link as you described.
Yes.
So, tell us more about your author journey. Why did you decide to write a book on this subject, basically?
I started learning. So I went in and did a small course of REBT where I became a counselor sorts. So that I could therapize my patients as I spoke to them. So I've been therapizing patients since 2018. And I started realizing that every patient feels better, responds better, even if we use the right words when we're talking. We don't need to tell patients to do anything. We just need to make them aware of things that they're not aware of. And as time progressed, I started getting better at it. Initially you're always stumbling, you're a toddler. And the one thing that my teacher told me in the class was that you can only get better once you keep doing it. There is no way that you're ever going to be a good counselor from the beginning. You
Yeah.
just develop counseling skills as you counsel. So
Yeah.
as I started counseling consistently, I started understanding that okay, there was this entire framework that was getting formatted in my mind. And then COVID happened, and I was like, what to do? So that's when I stumbled, and I had this entire vision that I need to put this on paper. I need for this to reach to people, so that at least they're sensitized to the fact that just with creams or even by changing lifestyles is not going to help. You're going to have to also add the emotional health component to it. And then you came, and then I enrolled, and then rest is history. So that's what I wrote this book. Honestly speaking, it was there in my mind, but I penned it down in that 1 month that we were together, or the 7 a.m. club, as you call it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so all of you aspiring authors, maybe you should just check the 7 a.m. club. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, where did you struggle much, or where did you enjoy much, in your author journey? Where did you
Uh,
struggle and where did
uh,
you enjoy?
well, the enjoyment rather came. I mean, the first draft was not really that good, so it's never like fun to read the first draft. But then, as I started revising it, is when things started flowing. They started, looking better, and the most joy came when I sent the draft to a few close people, and they loved it. And I think that to me was the peak. I'm like, okay, fine, okay, this is it. I'm happy that the people that I find who I think are important are actually saying that this is good. And yeah, so that was about my author journey. Yeah, I mean, and but the more painstaking part about it is the technology, and me being a doctor, we are absolutely tech, I don't know, retards, I feel.
No, but
We are
you did
handicapped.
so well, and you did, you did formatting also yourself, and you published also yourself, and I don't
Yeah.
think that you
All
are not
thanks to you.
good.
Otherwise, कैसे possible था? वो possible ही नहीं होता. I would have ended up going to some novelty publication. I would have ended up, banging on, knocking on doors of publication houses, and I totally feel that they're just so. I mean, this is a far better approach, self-publication. It just gives you so much of liberty and gives you so much of scope to explore, and the point was to reach out to people. The point was not to, like, oh, sell like 100 million copies. I wish that happens though, but it was
So
had
how,
to get out there.
so how has been the response? Have you kept your copies at your clinic as well?
I do. So far, I think, so I have not really kept a count, honestly, because I don't know, I never kept a count. But it's been around at least 150 to 200 copies that have been either given out or have been bought. Yeah. And yeah, and my patients are very nice. They're very, very kind. They pick up the book and they've been recommending it to other friends because it kind of rings a bell with them. So yeah, it's a slow process of reaching out to people, but it's happening, and I have nowhere to go. I'm in no hurry.
When people read your book, how is their response? Do
It's like, oh my God, a eureka moment, because it basically deals with concepts like labels, like labeling yourself as a mother, and then all those roles that come as a mother, labeling yourself as a daughter, labeling yourself as a father, and then all those roles that come with that. It deals with choices that everywhere you have a choice. It basically depends on whether you make the choice or not. It also depends. So if you choose not to make a choice, you're still choosing not to make a choice. So the choice is always yours.
yeah.
And it basically discusses these concepts which a lot of times are not discussed in families. We are just told to do this. We are brainwashed to believe certain things which may not be conducive to my health at this point of time. Maybe at 25 it was possible for me, but today at 35 I need to kind of set them aside and rethink those new concepts, without getting a feeling of guilt or a feeling of responsibility or a feeling of shame that, oh, I'm not enough. you know Validation, it discusses what validation is, why should you seek validation, when should you not seek validation. It discusses how to identify your negative emotion to start with, because the moment you ask someone how are you feeling, they'll answer I'm fine.
Mm, yeah.
No one's going to say I'm sad. No one ever uses these words, neither my patients. When I ask them how you feeling, I'm fine. But then are you feeling sad, angry, anxious, and then they go into this world of thought where they don't know what to say because they've never used those words consistently.
Yeah, we're not taught to share, right?
Yes. So that's why I think it kind of just rings a bell where someone's out there who's actually saying that it's okay not to be the perfect mother. Someone out there is actually trying to tell you it's okay not to be the perfect daughter. You just need to be honest and truthful and sincere, and not burden yourselves with notions that were taught to you. you know and basically it discusses one formula, and the formula is A plus B is equal to C.
Yeah, I know
And
we
it
put a lot of formulas in the book. Yeah, that's really amazing with all those illustrations.
yes. So the A plus B is equal to C. So the B is what the book discusses predominantly. It's the belief systems. It's all these core ideologies that we have picked up from our families, from Bollywood, from movies, from books that we read, from friends, and that has shaped us into who we are today. So it helps us reflect on, really, I mean, is this me, or is it because I've been told to do this, which is why I'm doing this? So that's the one formula changing.
Wow, and so profound that it's all related to disease, and skin is just one of the organs.
Yes, and skin is just one of the organs.
Can I say that when someone reads your book, will also be, like they'll find useful to treat themselves, not just skin disease, but any disease?
Yes, because so like I said, I'm going to be courageous again on this platform and say, suppose if you have blood pressure, just change the hair fall to blood pressure, and then read the book. Change the other skin conditions into blood pressure. I have stories of 5 people in the book. Okay, those 5 people discuss various skin diseases. Put your disease there and then read the book. The perspective is the same. The hormonal changes that happen because of stress are the same. Now, I got acne and probably someone else got blood pressure.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
That's how it manifested outside, externally.
Exactly. Yeah, and I believe in manifestations. I believe that you attract. I do believe that what you think matters, and what you tell yourself matters even more. Yeah. So.
Wow. So people, are you loving this conversation? Type, yes in the chat box if you're loving this conversation. Put in some questions if you have anything for Dr. Pradnya or me, and we'll continue. So any particular incident that happened while writing or publishing or marketing your book that you remember that was funny or really inspiring or happy moment? Any particular incident that you can, if at all, happen? Do you remember anything?
So the best thing that happened, and I don't know who to thank and how much to thank, is that during this entire process, when I started writing the book, I was also introduced to this psychiatrist called Dr. Anand Nadkarni. Actually, it was his institute in Thane, which is the Institute of Psychological Health, where I did my REBT course and I was trained as a counselor. And I've always wanted to meet him, and I think, like I said, as because I was so motivated in publishing this book, I ended up having a conversation with him, and then it just kind of clicked. And to me, he's like my friend, philosopher, and guide. And he's been one of the most inspirational people today. He's been motivating me. He's just there, and because it's associated with psychology, for me, it's just like a great working experience. So I think that's the best thing that happened during this time. It not much related to the book, but because of the book. And when he read it, I was like, okay, ultimate happiness, because he loved the book. I'm like, okay, that's great. Coming from a person who's been doing REBT for at least 30 years today. Yeah, and a lot of REBT centers all over India are his students. That to me was one of the biggest achievements that I could ever have.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I can imagine how it would, like, someone would feel that their idol or someone who they follow really badly, truly,
Yes.
and they're reading, appreciating your book. Amazing.
Yes,
So
that was fun.
a bit of advice for first time authors.
Stick at it, just be at it, and another advice, and which you also say, and I think, and I believe, I totally, this rang a bell with me when you said it. Write it down, just write it down. Doesn't matter how good it is, doesn't matter whether it's in flow or not, just write it down.
Yeah.
Because it's always in the third or the fourth draft that you actually start working on it, and it starts manifesting into what you thought it should be.
Correct.
So just stick to it and write down whatever comes to your mind. You can always do the finishing touches in the end.
I always tell that's so great advice, very, very apt advice to everyone who is watching this video. If you really want to become an author, just do it. Okay? And don't judge yourself. You can judge on your fourth or fifth draft. Okay, keep editing. Shuruaat mein, don't filter your thoughts. If you start filtering here, the book will never ever happen. So
yeah, I completely agree.
So people, any questions for Dr. Pradnya? Let me just see if anyone has any question for you. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Pradnya, your experience or something that you want to tell people who are watching this video right now?
So I have mentioned that I have acne, and I have acne even today. And whenever I get that one or two here and there, I know that I'm under stress. And I actually slowed down and I asked myself, okay, what is it that has bothered me? Whether it's my physical activity, whether I'm not doing enough, or whether I've exerted myself, or whether something has happened which I have not liked emotionally. And I kid you not, I always get some connection. There's also been a prospective connection where I know I'm stressed and I know I'm going to get an acne tomorrow. Very typical exam goers, get this sort of acne, but I now get it as well. So, but the only difference is tab itna nahi pata chalta tha. Now I can actually, so there's something called as thinking awareness that has come in because of the constant reading of these materials, where I know what I'm thinking about. I may be affected because this book doesn't say never get sad, never get angry, never get anxious. That's not going to happen. You're going to get distressed. You're going to face circumstances where you're not going to be in a good place. The point is for you to understand that you're not in a good place and then do something about it.
True.
To the best of your capacity. So yeah, that happens to me. So all my skin patients who come to me, if they have even the slightest itch which is coming back, I ask them what has changed. What has changed in life? And now they're also getting good at it. They're also like, I understand what you mean. And then they kind of treat themselves. I've had cases of severe dermatitis or eczema. But I've stopped everything and put her only on topical medications, and she has completely recovered. just because of pointing out to her that, okay, this is related,
Hmm.
and that it is in your hands. So it's that the form of therapy is absolutely miraculous.
Awesome.
It's miraculous.
That's super amazing to hear, and I love the fact the book is not about creams and all. It actually treats you internally, and you're also treating patients both ways, right? Topical also and internally also through therapies. So my best wishes to you, and really happy to have you here, and really proud of this book, which is helping a lot of people go through, understand this therapy and understand themselves. And there are a lot of questionnaire there inside the book. People go ahead, check it out, and it will really help you understand, where you stand and how you can start helping yourself internally and fixing stuff. So once again, thank you, Dr. Pradnya. People go ahead, check out her book. I'll be pasting the link here in the comments, and do review after reading. And for any skin ailments, you can contact Dr. Pradnya. Thank you once again, Dr. Pradnya.
Thank you.